Hello, pit stoppers. Yep, that's what I'm going to call you if you subscribe to my channel, which hopefully you will do after watching this video. So, what's this all about? Well, I have a hobby, and it's Scalextric. It's building my track. It's decorating buildings and scenery and painting figures. Hopefully, I'll get there eventually. Haven't painted anything yet, but you know, I've got a box full of gear down there, which I need to get to at some stage. So, a little bit about myself in my reasoning behind having a Scalextric setup and everything is that, you know, many years ago I had a track up in my loft, quite a sizable track. It was well decorated. I had, you know, ramps going on and bridges and so on and so forth, and yeah, it was quite good. But then of course, unfortunately, life took over, so I packed it away in boxes and then forgot about it. And then about 3 years ago, give or take, sadly I was diagnosed with prostate cancer, which had unfortunately spread to my shoulder and my hip. Yeah, I'm receiving treatment. The treatment seems to be going okay, which is good. But the long and short of it is, guys, you know, if you are over 45, having problems with your waterworks, then please do make an appointment with your doctor and go along and have a PSA test. Sadly, the government, in their infinite wisdom, have decided that there's no need to have a screening program for men for prostate cancer, which is not important enough, and despite lobbying from Prostate Cancer UK and various other organisations. Anyway, enough about that. But that's pretty much what led me to then building a shed in my garden. So I have a nice 8x12 shed, which I helped my son build. He did most of the heavy lifting and stuff when they're doing the foundations and everything, and then we put it together. But what I then did is do most of the actual the lining inside the shed. So as you can see, I have these nice wooden boards everywhere. It's all silver foiled. Not silver foil, you know, the silver insulated stuff is behind it and everything. I put the shelves up, I put a TV in, I've run a power out here. I even run an Ethernet cable out from my house so I can watch TV in the corner on a Sunday afternoon when I'm in here doing bits and bobs, maybe the football or whatever, or just watching YouTube channels such as those from Lee Slotcar. You know, he's the expert of phone builds. I've tried to build a few things myself, not as good as he does it. And he also does some fantastic, you know, dioramas inside the buildings he builds as well, which is something I aspire to. I also watch other channels like Tracks Fans TVs, you know, and I just love it when he comes on his session on a morning, on a Sunday morning, and says, and he loses his voice, and you just think, well, that's cool the way he's got that. It's a nice sort of, like, you know, that's who he is, that's what his channel is. So hopefully, you know, we'll get to the point where, you know, my channel will be established. Hopefully it does. And obviously, you know, the phrase pit stoppers will relate to my channel. Now, if it does, fantastic. If you subscribe after watching this video, or share it with somebody else, that's fantastic. Hopefully you'll click like and that sort of thing as well. If you don't, fair enough. You know, I understand. I'll be a little bit disappointed, but I'll understand. You know, I'm not doing this to become famous or get out there and have everybody talking about me. Although it'd be good to sort of have a few mentions, and, you know, for people to sort of say, I'd like your sticker, Bryan, for your channel. You know, I've got a few up on my wall up there. That would be great. That'd be cool. But yeah, I'm doing this for me. You know, my wife and my son said to me, look, Dad, you know, you've got this fantastic track out there. I've videoed it and shown it to a few of my colleagues at work and stuff like that, and at school where my son is a head teacher, and he says, you know, the kids love it, my caretaker loves it. Why not do a channel and just share it with people? You know, share what you're doing. You know, people say to me, you know, well, you'll have finished all this in 5 years, won't you? And my answer to that is that, you know, you're never finished, are you? You know, you're always changing things. Look how often Lee changes his track. You know, he extends it, he changes it, he puts new buildings in, and so on and so forth. You know, I myself have changed my track at least 4 times over the last 3 years. Mostly because it doesn't quite fit right. I'll show you my pit area in a moment, which has been changed 2 or 3 times, and it's been very challenging, and I've actually had to cut my own specific section of track to make it fit and join up properly. Thank you, Boone Slot Cars, for that. I also at one stage painted all my track following and watching a Boone video, which I then changed back to normal track as well. So I've got a box full of that as well if I ever need to use it somewhere. I've got a few little pieces here and there where it's dotted about, where I've sprayed it, and I haven't replaced those particular pieces of track. So yeah, so that's you know, what we do, you know, things don't stay the same. You change, you upgrade, you improve, you make things better. You know, my grandson Joseph, Joe, loves to come over here and race around the track, and he's getting better. He doesn't crash off as much, but he still does. And there's a particular part of the track just over here. Let me just move that down slightly so you can see, you know, over here where there's a chicane there as it comes round out and it comes round like that. He tends to have a problem with that because he comes flying off. Even more so, I actually went to the UCAR Slot Car Festival a couple of weeks ago, and indeed I'll do another video next week perhaps and share my haul, as people call them, of what I actually got from the Slot Car Festival. And you know, one of the things I did buy was a monster truck. I thought, that's right up Joe's street, you know, whacking out big tyres, monster truck, and he goes bombing around the track with it, and it does run very, very well. It's analog. Doesn't matter. He hasn't quite got to that point where he's going to try and master the lane change and things like that. But eventually, hopefully, he will do. And you know, I live in hope that maybe one day he'll sit here with his Draggart, and he will help make things, maybe paint some figures or whatever. You know, he's certainly going to be interested in the car racing, but the other stuff maybe just leave it to his Draggart to do. But you know, you never know. So anyway, so I've got a few changes to make to my track. So I'm now going to take you off the stand. So bear with me while I take you off and turn the camera around. I can't actually see on my iPhone what I'm filming. So if it's a bit rickety, a bit ropey, a bit jumpy, then please forgive me. It's my first video. Nobody said it's going to be perfect. And, you know, hopefully eventually I'll become a dab hand at this and get all professional. You know, I bought the sort of the ring light. I've got the little sort of clip-on microphones and everything. So I'm geared up. I'm ready to go. But I need to use those bits when I feel a bit more comfortable. And of course today, you know, it's a bright sunny day. It's 28 degrees outside. I'm in my shed. I've got my oscillating fan there, keeping me nice and cool. So it's not too bad. Anyway, let's unclip you. I hope I don't press the button and turn myself off like I always do. There we go. So I'm just going to turn you around. Bear with me. Like that, and I'm going to turn you around. Don't press the clip, Brian. So let's start around here. So as you can see, the track starts. Well, let's actually start at the proper point, shall we? Where the power pack is. Now I'm just going to move my chair because it's a pain in the bum. It's quite tight, but it's good to sit on because it's quite supportive of my back. So there's my power pack. So I have an Art Pro. I haven't really done anything specific with it yet. I've got the Smart Race app, I believe I've got. It's hooked up to my tablet. I have a lead which I can then plug into my telephone, into my TV. But I've not really done anything with it yet. But hopefully that's what I'm going to do eventually. You know, when I'm more established at doing things and everything, I'll start running some cars and start doing some timing laps and things. Trying to think of the word there. So there we are. We then go around. We come around there, so you can see my first sort of like mounting over there with the trees on and everything. If you're interested, I can talk you through how I built that. I then have my track going around there, and as you can see on the wall, I also made the walls sort of like a mounting as well. And again, basically what I did there is I used some like plaster, not plaster. I'll show you the stuff I used another time perhaps when I'm talking about that. Anyway, those little signs there, as you can see them, they basically are from the garden centre. You normally put those in plant pots. I had some little stickers, so I thought, great idea. I'll cut them down a bit, push them through into the foam underneath the grass. Excuse me. And then stick those old stickers I got lying around from years ago. It then goes round. It goes up onto the hill there, round the mountain, and then round there, and it goes into the mounting. I have my brickwork. Again, I got that idea from Boone's Slot Cars Garage around there, and I'll talk more about where I've basically butchered it there, cut it all off. The mounting comes round, it then comes round here. Oh, excuse me. Then underneath the tunnel again there, round the corner, round here, and then it comes basically round here. Did that wrong, didn't I? Round the end, up to the end there, round the back there, and then obviously it can either go into the pit lane or come bypass the pit lane, and then through here, and then round the bend, underneath the mountain again, round the outside, and then here we are. So that's my track, and these are my cars. I collect cars, the limited edition ones and the special edition ones. So you can see there, some of those are club cars, some are web exclusives. I've got 2 of those 50-year anniversary ones. Must try and sell the other one. As you can see there, I am into Captain Britain, and hopefully one day they will put him into a Marvel film. If they do, I'll be made up and sell lots of other fans. That's his sister Psylocke. She's been in a Marvel film, X-Men. There's more cars there. As you can see, I've got more cars down the end there. Ignore the little kitten tiger cub thing. It's keeping the sun out. It's 28 degrees outside. And there's the rest of my cars there. And that is my track. Let me just turn you around. I'm not going to try and put you back in the holder again, because the last time I did it, I clicked the off button and turned the camera off. So you'll bear with me while I hold it in my hands. It's a little bit unsteady, but nevertheless, you know, that's my track, that's my cars, this is my channel. Hopefully you will subscribe, hopefully you will like, and if indeed you want to, you can also share. That will be fabulous. I hope to do some more videos in the future, but thank you for watching, for joining my channel. Hope this video was interesting, and hopefully I'll see you again. Goodbye, pit stoppers.